Hi there. This is Chris Carey. Let me get that focused for you a little better, so you get to see a little more of me. And it slides again. There. That's a little better. So this is the section of our newsletter that talks about Cruising 66. We've had a lot of interest with our Cruising 66 lineup of new shows and content, and the events that we've got. We've got a bike race that we're launching for October of this year. Albuquerque to Santa Fe and back. Really exciting stuff in the news going on with that. We have major sponsors that we've started talking to, both for the content and for the site, and that's very exciting news. We have started working with some new organizations, Go Vets in particular, and I think we've got some great synergies going on there that'll help us expand our stories and what we're able to talk about on Cruising 66 through a lot of the communities there in ways we just didn't have access to before. So that's really good news. One of the reasons a lot of people are paying attention to us in Cruising 66, though, is because of the funding research we're doing, right? So we're doing a lot of work to get funding for finishing the development of the site. I've got most of that done, but it really would help to have some other developers there to keep building on it and grow it to where it needs to be. Finish off some of the development of the apps that I've been working on, and just make that thing rock even more. So this past week, I didn't go as far in getting the paperwork done for the three different funding sources we're working with right this minute. So the three groups we're working with, we have the Small Business Development Center, we have Chicanos por la Causa and Prestamos, which is a local community organization that has access to federal funding programs for business. They also do a number of other things for community development, HUD programs and whatnot. So that they're a very interesting group to talk to and to work with. Then our third group is with the Keiretsu Forum, the world's largest angel investor community, right? So the Small Business Development Center has a funding presentation that happens in March, and we're going to be, let me adjust that again. We're going to be presenting at that in March for Cruising 66, and angels are expected to be there and be very welcoming of our presentation. Hopefully that's going to lead to some funding, as well as funding from our other two groups that we're working with right now. We're also talking to a couple of venture capital groups and some other organizations, and we're also trying to get EB5 funding. So to tell you what EB5 funding is, EB5 funding basically is a program run by the U.S. Customs and Immigration Service that if you happen to be a foreign investor, not a national of the United States, and you want to move to the U.S., you want a green card, and you invest either $500,000 or $1 million or more, depending on which track you're in, into businesses in the U.S. that generate at least 10 jobs, then you get a green card for you and your family. So it's very valuable in that context to the investor. It also requires that those jobs last, or your green card goes away. So they've had a hard time making those deals work out for a variety of companies that the investments have gone into, largely because the kinds of companies they're investing in had such high turnover of projects. They were mostly in real estate. So once you've built the building, right, you don't need the same staff, and you let go of the jobs that you just created with us, and now you don't qualify for the EB5 anymore, which means the EB5 investor loses their green card. They just picked the wrong horse. That's really what that means. So with Cruising 66 and each of the companies that I'm working on that are going through the EB5 process, we have the opportunity to demonstrate that we're not just looking for a 6-month to 2-year deal here. We're looking for people that we can fill jobs with for decades. We're really looking to grow that big and that long. So some huge advantages in our EB5 presentation just on that merit alone. And of course, if you've been following along, you know we've got a lot more going for us than that. So the EB5 funding, the hiccup we're in with that right now is we need to generate enough cash to do the feasibility study. There's a mandatory feasibility study, and once we have that in place, then it can be moving along further and faster than it is right now. But we have some big advantages there in that we aren't looking for the kind of money that requires regional center participation. That shaves a whole lot of time and effort off. There's some other things that we can do that can limit the amount of time and work it takes, so that when we do reach out to our investors, and we've got 3 or 4 agents abroad that are looking to line them up for us, when we reach out to our international investors, that gives us a great opportunity to convert them much more efficiently, get them into the process a lot more effectively, and secure their interests a lot better. So we're very positive and very happy about that. It just takes a little longer, but it's for more money. So really, what's to complain about in that regards, right? So we have a $100,000 deal with Prestamos that we're looking to close up. Tuesday, I have some paperwork due to them. Simultaneously, hopefully I'll get some paperwork to Keiretsu Forum and the SBDC, and then those 3 funding models can move ahead, so that certainly over the next 30 to 45 days we should have landed at least one of those investors, and then the other 2 groups will be arriving probably sometime in March, late February, early March. So that's that part, and then the EB5 is probably going to happen sometime in April or May, if I'm doing my projections correctly. So that's what it looks like right now, and it's all very exciting, because by the time we get through the VC round towards the end of the summer, we should have raised somewhere in the neighborhood of about $8 million for Cruising 66, on top of the sales that we'll generate in that time period as well. So it's very, very exciting. We're delighted and happy to keep it going. We did get a splash site up. Now I'm filling content on it and adding on features and functionality, so that it's interesting, but it's not. This isn't where the site's going to end. We have a totally different format in mind for what this site's going to look like when it's live. So this is 30 to 45 days of whetting your appetite. It's a splash page, splash landing site where you get to see some interesting things and details. And it gives us the opportunity to sell to our sponsors, so we can develop our content for launch. That's where we are with Cruising 66, and I think there's lots of progress this week. And I think that was a good batch of reporting for it. So stay tuned. Next week, of course, even more stuff to talk about Cruising 66. Have a great one.